So, welcome to the Betterment Club at Florida State University. Today I'm grateful and excited to be sharing some of the thoughts of what this organization is going to be about. And I realize we are at the end of the semester, but this is going to be laying the foundation for what's going to come for the summer and the fall. First of all, I want to state the ultimate and main purpose of this organization, and that is to mentor and guide young male undergraduates in the process of becoming the best possible version of themselves. You might ask, and what gives you credentials to be giving me advice on how to become a better man? And I say, hey, that's a valid question. And the only thing that I have to say to you is that I am not certified to become a life coach yet, professional life coach, nor am I certified to give you advice on how to live your life. But I do have a deep desire to improve my life and to live an extraordinary life. I've been doing lots of self-development for the past 3 to 4 years. I've been reading a lot of books. I've been going to seminars, lectures, giving counsel to some of my male friends when they need some and whatnot. And I just want to ask you to keep an open mind. And if anything that I say kind of resonates with you, then that could plant the seed for a life of possible success. And that's all I ask for you. That could be in the field of time management, like we have my man right here, Matt. It could be in health and fitness. It could be in dating advice. It could be in a lot of things. And secondly, I'm going to say something potentially controversial. I'm not sure how you guys are going to take it. Take it with a grain of salt. I'm not sure how you guys are going to react to it, but here I'm going to say it. I believe most people are walking through life like zombies. And by that I mean that they're walking through life reacting to beliefs and values that haven't been chosen by themselves. By values, I mean a person's principles, standards of behaviors. But in this context, it means one's judgment of what is important to oneself. That could be personal wealth and financial independence. That could be abundance with women. That could be traveling, creative pursuits, anything. Beliefs are a person's belief about themselves, about their environment, and about how the world functions, basically. I believe that people have consciously picked beliefs and values, or they have been unconsciously assigned to them. Take, for example, a young man coming out of high school. He's on his path set to become a lawyer. Take a young woman coming out of high school. She's set on the path of becoming a doctor. What if one day they sat down and they decided to meditate and figure out what is it that they really want to become? If they meditated, if they wrote down, what is it that I want to become in my life? Would they still be thinking about becoming a lawyer? If they ask themselves, listen, I'm going to live in this planet once, one time. What am I going to do with my life? What type of legacy do I want to leave for myself? And just be very selfish. What type of life do I want to live? Am I really becoming a lawyer because I want to do that? Or is it because since I was young, my parents have been telling me that it is an honorable profession and that it's going to be accompanied by a decent salary? And after sitting down, meditating for a while, and writing what they really wanted to do in this world, they come up with answers that they always knew that were inside of them, but they were too scared to bring it up to the surface. At that moment, the focus went from, I'm going to become a lawyer because my parents told me it's an honorable thing to do, and because it's a decent paying job, to what are my gifts and how can I impact the world in a way that is going to make my life a dream every day that I wake up. Waking up every day with that energy and that feeling of being connected to something greater, and that you're just feeling like you're on fire. You know those people like Tony Robbins. You guys know Tony Robbins?
Yeah.
The motivational speaker. He loves what he does, right? He's been doing it for 30 years or whatnot. He lives that. There's no type of cognitive dissonance in his brain and his body. So when you're working at, for example, I'm not saying any of you guys are going to end up at Walmart, but let's say you're walking at Walmart, right? And you have a cognitive dissonance of knowing all your dreams and all your heart, but you're doing this 9 to 5 grind that is grinding you down. You're tired. You don't want to do this. Same thing with being a lawyer. So what I'm saying here is very important. What do you want out of life, and how are you going to find that out? I want to ask you guys here in the audience 2 questions. I don't expect you to answer them to me right now. I just wanted to put it in your brain. Have you ever guys, I know some of you guys have, like John, have you ever guys sat down and actually thought about what is it that you want in life? Sat down and really think about what is it that you want in your life. Do you want to travel the world? Do you want to have financial independence? Do you want to be incredibly wealthy? Do you want to have be friends with amazing people that are creating amazing things and reaching amazing things in your life? And 2, if you have found your desires, what are you doing every day to reach those desires? Are you being congruent with your desires, and are you acting every day to reach those goals? I talked about values. Now let's talk about beliefs. And most importantly, beliefs about ourselves and beliefs about the world that we live in. Here goes my potentially controversial statement number 2. And that is that most of the thoughts in your head are not under your control. I'm a huge fan of meditating, being present to the moment and whatnot. And it's because the way that we have been designed is that we have a very powerful brain, and we are not in the power to control all of those thoughts. So through meditation, through conscious thought control, we can control some of them, but at the end of the day, we are not in control of our brains. We can control ourselves somehow, but yeah, we're not completely in control of ourselves. That's my second potentially controversial statement, and I don't know what you guys think about that. But I think that if you haven't done some deliberate and meticulous conscious work in your brain, you might be having a few thoughts that are limiting you right now. And let me tell you, the number 1 reason why you guys haven't let go of these thoughts, or why you haven't let go of that identity that limits you, and it's because simply and straight to the point is that it's very hard to let those things go. They have been part of your identity your whole life. So if all of your life you've thought about yourself of being a natural introvert, and then one day I put you in a social gathering interaction or a social gathering environment, and I'm like, okay, go talk to people. Because you've had this identity of yourself being this completely naturally introverted person, you cannot turn into social butterfly, Mr. Social Butterfly in 1 second. It's impossible. The frame of mind could help you. You could become more sociable at that moment. But at the end of the day is that you've been building a habit for 20 plus years, and changing your identity is very hard. So that said, if you do want to become that socially extroverted person, you're going to be required and obliged to change some of the software inside of your brain. You're going to be required to change some of the beliefs about yourself, how you function, in order to become that person you ideally want to become. And that's just one example of one belief you might have. I believe that beliefs are the software that make the hardware run properly. So the purpose of this talk is for those of us, me included, that haven't clearly defined our values. So we feel like we're running around in this society. We're kind of like, we're running with the expression, what is it? Running with like a chicken with its head cut off, right? We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we want. And at the same time, we're blaming ourselves for not knowing these things. And we are the only ones to blame at the end of the day. So we have to take responsibility to find out what are our values and what are our beliefs. So the purpose of this talk is to inspire you and dare you to look within yourself and to, 1, figure out exactly what is it that you want out of life, define your values, and then 2, figure out what beliefs are running in your head, most likely in autopilot, because that's how our brains work, and deciding which beliefs serve you and which beliefs don't serve you, and making the decision to stick to the ones that help you out. I'm going to close by saying that inside all of us, we have big dreams, we have high aspirations. But funny enough, I believe that most of us are really afraid to go for what we want. this tendency to go for what we want, this tendency to be afraid to go for what we want, has become so widespread that it has become the norm in society. We are imprisoned in our minds by self-limiting thoughts that have disconnected us from our real self. Some of these thoughts might have an element of the following. We might be afraid of how people would react, friends, social circle, girlfriend, family, if we did what we really wanted to do. We might think it's too late to reach levels of mastery in some particular area in our life. We might think it's not worth it taking the risk, since chance of success is very slim. We might not feel worthy of these goals that we have in our head. Or quite simply, we have just fallen victims to procrastination and laziness, which is one of the most common ones. All these aforementioned possible thoughts point to man's biggest obstacle, and that is self-created fear. Tonight, you guys might have expected a feel-good talk, and there will be a time and place for that. But if we're ever to embark on a path towards self-mastery, and of course, first finding what those goals are and values are, we're going to have to face our inner demons with a lot of compassion and a lot of self-acceptance. As one of the leaders of this organization, it is my wish to help you and other young male undergraduates in this university, Florida State University, become the best possible version of themselves and aid you in this journey of self-discovery and self-growth.
Badass. Powerful stuff, man.
Appreciate that. Appreciate it.